So, you just got Ray from the Battle Pass, and you're wondering how the hell do you use this agent? In this video, I'm going to go over briefly a build that you can use with Ray, the one that I prefer, and I'm also going to kind of explain the mechanic behind Ray's overcharge, and how to best kind of like utilize Ray, in a sense, and give some tricks and pointers on Ray and playing her in the game. Now, for the build, I'm not going to spend as much time as I did in the previous videos, just so that I can kind of get over on how to utilize Ray and everything like that. But for slot 1, I prefer the 900 watt for the increased charging speed and the increased shell speed, which allows hitting targets at longer range and also decreases the amount of time to charge. The RBX for the increased reverse speed is also nice. You won't see a lot of people run X syrup though. It is kind of nice, but not super important. For slot 2, I use XRM40 for the improved resolution for thermals and the increased ability to shoot people at range, so the reticle size gets decreased. And Ray does have dispersion, it's just you can't see it because the triangle. So it has a circle like all other vehicles, it's just not something that you will able to actually see, but you can feel it. There's also the other options, which I really wouldn't recommend for slot 2. Cyclone D is the option I choose for slot 3. The extra hit points feels nice, same as the fire reduction in damage and the duration of fire. You could also do the HBD 240 for the reverse speed to get in and out of situations nicely. Ned isn't super useful for Ray. For slot 4, I use the 1400 watt. It also increases the gun charging speed. This is for normal mode, and you will see it a lot that it really helps with the charging speed. The other options aren't super helpful. NGT is okay, but you really don't want to run it. You don't have much survivability to begin with, so it might as well boost your firepower. For slot 5, I run Cormal Core for the increased shell speed, also increase critical damage by 15% in normal mode, so yellow mode. The other options I really don't think you should choose, but there is Ubamap, which increases the damage when you're in low mode, the critical damage in low mode, which can be kind of helpful because you almost always get a critical when you hit a weak point in low mode. For slot 6, I use HSF for the crit multiplier. The other two options aren't super helpful here. You could, if you wanted to, pick something else, but I think HSF is the best one with the increased shell velocity and crit multiplier. For slot 7, the Hephaestus for the repair kit is very helpful, especially with Ray, as you sometimes will overcharge, and this means that you do want your repair kit to be up more often, and since you don't have much health, you also want your repair kit to give you a full heal, which is why the increased repair kit also helps a lot on Ray, and is why it's just my preferred option for this slot. Stubimef is okay. For slot 8, I use the Philanamp. This increases the damage by 25% at distances up to 300 meters, and since I am a close range kind of player, this is my preferred option, as I'm not usually sniping, but if you are sniping, I could say the Rotak might be the better option for you to get in and out of position faster and to get in and out of cover a little faster, as it does give you base acceleration, and movement speed forward and backwards is quite helpful as well. For slot 9, I go with the 600 watt. This is for the increased shell speed. It kind of makes it so that your shots are almost like a laser and almost instantaneously hit, and also it completely shuts off your dispersion when you're in overcharge mode, and this can be extremely helpful because your dispersion is 0 when you're sniping and when you're on the move, so you will be pinpoint accurate when you're in overcharge. There's also the 60 kilowatt generator. It's kind of nice because it does reduce the overcharge damage by 30%, which means it'll be 70 per tick, but I feel like the 600 watt is just the better option here, at least for me personally. And then for upgrade 10, I would say the 216 is the better option for me with the increased movement speed forward, the reverse speed, and the sprint energy volume. It does increase the crit damage for the engine, but you're quite low health to begin with, so it's not like increasing the crit damage does a lot for you, since you'll still get one shot a majority of the time regardless of with or without this upgrade. There's also the iMac, which I personally don't prefer, but this upgrade does allow you to full health a Titan as long as you hit the back of their ammo rack if they have the full health build. But it really does kind of just hurt your DPM, as it makes the charging for normal mode and overcharge extremely long. In my opinion, I don't think this is the best option for you. But now let's go ahead and talk about the perks for Ray. I choose El Rayo, which increases the railgun charge speed by 5%. Without it, the gun charge is 5 seconds, and with it, it's 4 seconds, so always go El Rayo. For slot 2, overclocked, increases the engine acceleration so that you get up to top speed a lot faster. This is my preferred option. You could also use Bullseye Boost, but this is a personal preference for you. Smooth Moves is useless, as the reload doesn't affect Ray. And then for slot 3, I use Stable Approach. So how Ray's charge works is you have 3 different modes. You have the low mode, which is the white mode, which is the very first mode that you'll go through. There's the second mode, which is the normal mode. It's when the triangle is yellow. In this mode, you'll be doing about 800 damage on a normal shot, and criticals can be up to 2000. And then there is the overcharge mode, which is when you'll notice that you'll start taking damage once you're overcharged. It's about 100 per tick, and the maximum damage is about 4,100 damage, depending on what build you have with Ray. As a full critical build, Ray can one-shot a Titan if you hit the ammo rack. This is as long as you hit it from the back as well, where it's not covered by armor. The normal mode is usually the best option to pick, especially for low health targets. It's 800 damage is quite a reasonable amount of damage, and its critical is really nice to execute targets. Low mode is good for very low health targets or people that are in range of the 1000 to 1300 damage for the low mode critical. And if you do see a full health target, as long as it's not a Jaeger or another Ray, then overcharging it is perfectly fine to get the 2000, 3000 damage shots. Overcharged is definitely useful in certain situations where you can charge around cover, pull out of cover, shoot, and then pull back into cover. But in the open, it's definitely faster to just charge up to normal mode and fire and get crits that way. Now, how exactly do you play Ray? Now, it depends a lot on your playstyle. For me, I'm more of an aggressive player, so sitting back and sniping the majority of the time just isn't going to work for me. So essentially how I play Ray is I like to get close to the enemy, and generally I start to charge up before I even see an enemy. There will be a lot of times where I will just shoot off my charge to reset the charge, just to make sure I don't accidentally kill myself with overcharge. But usually when I'm brawling, I usually want to hit people with the normal charge or the yellow charge. The reason why I don't sit and wait for red all the time is if they're paying attention, they'll notice you and start fighting back. Now, if you do notice that they haven't noticed you at all, then I would say going for an overcharge is fine, but it should also be noted, if you think you're going to miss the target, i.e. they're driving behind cover or something like that, it is definitely recommended that you shoot before they get into cover. This is the same with sniping as well. If you notice someone's going to get in cover or you might not have a shot on them if you wait for the next charge, it's best just to deal the damage right now, then wait and hopefully do more damage to them later with an overcharge. Now, when it comes to sniping, what I like to do is if I see an enemy, I like to pull back and into cover and then start charging and then wait until I'm overcharged and then peek back out and shoot them. But this only works if it's like a sniper versus sniper situation. So if you're trying to snipe another Ray or if you're trying to snipe another Jaeger, just sitting in the open is going to get you sniped yourself. That's why I usually recommend to pull back and then peek back out once you're close to being fully overcharged. If it is Ray on Ray, you can one-shot Ray with just a normal charge in the second mode, as long as you aim for the turret and hit the ammo. It should do about 1400, 1500 damage in the second mode. You should also use second mode for targets that are low health. If you notice someone's on like half health, then using the normal mode is the preferred way to deal damage, just because it's quicker to load up than waiting for an overcharge. Plus you'll do usually you'll kill the target as long as you crit in normal mode if they're not on full health. The only targets that this doesn't really apply to is maybe a Titan. If you're trying to fully one-shot someone from full health, then waiting for the overcharge is optimal, but you will do a lot of damage with crits if you're in the normal mode. So majority of the time I would just recommend firing in normal mode and aiming for critical weak points. And that's how you'll make the most use out of Ray. Now, fully overcharging does guarantee a kill only if you hit a critical too. So Ray is, in order to be the best with Ray, you have to hit your critical shots.
Not so killing anymore.
Base B is under attack.
So sad. First us. Oh, give me a break. We're critical hit.
Should I continue?
time with a feeling.